Hi there, welcome to Keep Britain Sewing, and thank you for purchasing the drawstring shorts pattern. Now in your pattern envelope or in your downloads you'll have the pattern, of course, and a set of instructions and the Keep Britain Sewing guide, and in here you'll find lots of tips on how to do various things, how to sew darts, how to insert a concealed zip, and a glossary of terms at the back, so keep that handy. So today I'm going to show you how to do the drawstring shorts, and for this you'll need about 1.5 meters of fabric. I've cut all my pieces out already, and they are all here, all pre-washed and pre-ironed, all ready to be sewn together. So we've cut all that out. You'll also need some interfacing, because some of the parts have interfacing. Actually it's just the waistband that has the interfacing on it. You'll also need the elastic. You'll need, I'm doing a small today, and for a small you need 85 centimeters of elastic, and this is 1.5 inches wide. You'll also need 140 centimeters of 7mm thick cord, and as well as the cord I've bought some cord ends, so once I put it through the waistband I can finish the cord with these at the end. As well as that you'll need some coordinating thread, so let's get on, let's make it. So the first thing we need to do is to transfer our markings on the back piece. We need to do the darts, so I've already transferred these on to the back pieces. If you're not sure how to sew your darts, luckily in the sewing guide there is a section on sewing darts, so if you want to refer to that, that's great. I'll quickly show you how to do them now, but that's handy to have near your sewing machine. So your darts are marked on your fabric. Now I'm going to fold it on the fold line there, so either side of the dart matches up. Now you can pin in place, or if you're confident enough, just hold it in place when you put it through your machine. I'll just put one pin in there, it's not a big dart. So I'm going to sew along the stitching line from the wide end here down to the point, and as I approach the point my stitching length will be decreased. I'll decrease the stitching length on my machine, and then I'll run the stitching off the edge. Okay, so I'll go over to my machine, place that under there. I'll put the needle or the foot down, and then place the needle on that line, onto that stitching line. Make sure my line is running straight there. So I'll do a couple of stitches, and then I'll reverse stitch just to secure that point, and then I'll continue down, remove that pin. I'll continue down to this point here. Now as I approach the end, or about 2 or 3 centimeters from the end, I'm going to reduce my stitch length, so shorter stitches, and continue down to that point and off the edge. Lift up my foot, and then you want a fair amount of thread there so you can tie the ends together. I'm just going to snip these threads off the end, this end, but with these sometimes they get a little bit twisted around each other, so I use a pin just to separate them, and then we tie a knot in the end like that, double knot, make sure it's secure. Snip those ends off, and then we do the same to the other side. Again, they've got twisted round, so I'm going to use a pin just to separate them. There we are. So got 2 ends, and just tie that, they're still twisted, tie that in a knot. There we go. So now we want to press the dart So I've got my tailor's ham here, which makes it easier to press the dart. Now you want to press it towards the centre, so you need to press the dart towards here. So if I show you this side, that makes it easier. So I'm just going to place that on there, grab my iron and press the dart towards the centre. And the darts will give it a little bit more shape around the bum. And then press on the outside as well. There we go. And then do the other one. And press again to the centre here. And press it on the outside as well. So that's the darts done on the back. Put that to one side, and now we'll move on to the pockets on the front. So for doing the pockets, you need pieces 1, which is the front, and piece 3, which are the pockets. So let me just unpin my pattern. These are quite easy shorts to make, perfect for the summer, and they're elasticated as well. So if you go out for a big meal, you'll have plenty of movement there. So that's my front pieces, and this is my pocket. So let me unpin that. So don't forget to sign up to Keep Britain Sewing. You can join the forums, you can chat to other people on the community there. You can also search for a community sewing group in your area. And of course there's other tutorials available as well, and other patterns available as well. So check them all out. So we have the pocket pieces. With right sides together, you need to line up your pocket to that edge there and pin that in place. And do the same on the other side. Line that up. Now there's a 1 centimetre seam allowance already within the pattern, so you don't have to worry about adding a seam allowance to the pattern. It's already included. Okay, so those are pinned in place, and we just need to stitch the pockets to the front pieces with the line of stitching straight down here. Nothing complicated, just a straight line all the way down. Don't forget to do a back stitch at the beginning to secure your stitch, because the last thing you want is to have a hole in your pocket. Go all the way down, and then back stitch at the end as well. So that's your pockets attached to your front. Let me just snip those threads off, and there. So now you want to put that behind the front piece like that, and you want to press along that edge. So you want to make that edge flat there. If I bring my pressing mat up, we want to press along this edge here. And once that's pressed, you just want to do a line of top stitching along the edge of that pocket there. Just about, probably about 3mm from that edge. I'm just going to line it up just where that groove is on my foot there. I'm going to line up my fabric with that and run the line of top stitching down there. So now you've sewn your pocket onto your front piece, it's time to do the yoke. So this is your pattern piece for the yoke, and you need to transfer these placement lines onto the fabric. So to do that, just place it on top of your piece of fabric, make sure it's in the right place, then fold back that mark. Now if you're doing small, then obviously do the small mark, medium, medium, then grab a ruler and a piece of chalk and draw a line across there. Then do the same for the other piece. Line that all up, and then of course fold it back the other way and place your mark on there. So you don't need that now. So now you have your marks on here, you can line up your pocket to that mark. So place the front piece with the pocket on top of there, lining up the seam that you just top stitched with that line that you've marked, and just pin that in place. That needs to come down a bit. Pin that in place. Just do a small line of stitching here and here just to keep it all in place for when you move on to the next bit. Just a line of stitching just to hold that in place. So now that's been basted in place, you need to turn your front piece over, and we are going to stitch the pocket pieces together. So pocket to the yoke. It's probably a good idea to pin this. So take the two pieces and just put a few pins in just to make sure it lays flat when you put it through your machine. And you want to do a line of stitching from over here all the way round up to here, and that's joining the pocket to the yoke piece. So now that you're happy with your pockets, you need to attach your front pieces to your back pieces along the side seam. So let me take my back piece and let me deal with one of them first, one at a time. So right sides together, and we want to attach this side here of the front to the back piece along the side here. So we line that up and pin in place. And we're going to do one long stitch all the way along that side seam there to make sure it's aligned correctly, and then do the same on the other front and back piece. Pin all the way down this edge. So like I said, you need to do a line of stitching along that side seam there. So that's your side seams done. You now need to do the inner leg seam. So pin your back and your front at the inside leg, pin that in place, And do the same on the other piece. And then stitch your line of stitching all the way down there. That's your inside leg. So that's your outside seam and your inner seam done. And before we do anything else, we want to press those seams. So I'm going to get my tailor's ham out, place that inside the leg, and then open these seams up and just press that, and then do the other seam. So now we come to do the inside leg seam. Now I often get confused here, but the best method I found is to keep one the right way out, the other inside out, and then place one inside the other so that they're right sides together. Then line up that inner leg seam, pin that together, on either side of that seam. And then continue along the inside leg seam. So pin it all the way along here. There we go. And so you then need to sew all the way along where you've just pinned. That would be your crotch seam. Now hopefully when we turn this the right way, we'll have something that looks like a pair of shorts. Yay! There we go. Okay, not quite there yet. We still have to do the waistband. So that is the next stage. So, moving on to the waistband, before you take your pattern piece off, just mark the eyelet position. I forgot to mention at the beginning, you also need two 1.5 centimeter eyelets, which look like this. So, on the waistband, before you do anything, make sure you mark your eyelet position here. So, that's there. And then there's two, so you need to mark the other one. So turn your pattern piece upside down, place it on that side, and then fold that back, and where is it? There. So I'm going to mark there as well. That's where my eyelets are going to go. Move that piece out of the way. So we need to fold down the top edge by 1 centimeter. So 1 centimeter, about there. So just press that down. I should really be using this. Let me move that out of the way. Press that top edge down by 1 centimeter. Check that that's 1 centimeter. So once that's pressed down 1 centimeter, it's time to do your eyelets. This is the fun part. You can let all your anger out in this bit. If you don't want to do eyelets or you don't have any, you can always use button hose if you know how to make button hose. If you don't know how to use button hose, refer to the Keep Britain sewing guide. It tells you in there. I'm going to put some eyelets in. So I'm going to make the hole for my eyelet first. You'll need a hammer. And the thing to make the hole. Place that on there. didn't quite work. I need a harder surface really, so I'm just going to snip this out. And then try and do the other one. And just take that out there. And then with your eyelet, you want to push the bigger bit in through that hole, and then place the ring over the top. Then you should have another tool like this. Hang on. Like this, and I place that on top of there and give it a good old bash. Hopefully that's in. No. That's in. And then do the other one. Place your ring of the eyelet over there. And then here we go again. I'm going to take this away and do it somewhere else. I'll be back. There we are. I've done it now. So my eyelets are in there. And now it's time to attach the waistband to the shorts. Fold the waistband in half and pin it down this short edge here. You need to sew along the short edge until you get to the fold that you made when you pressed it earlier. So once you've done that, you just want to press that seam open there. So once that's pressed, you need to attach it to your shorts. So the unpressed edge of your waistband you need to attach to the top of your shorts. You want to match the seam you've just done with the back seam of your shorts, so the centre back there. So match that up and pin in place. Then if you come around to the front, you want your eyelets to be either side of the centre seam at the front. So I'm going to place it there, pin, and then pin the rest of the waistband in place around the top. So once that's all pinned together, just want to sew your waistband to your shorts. So that is now attached to your shorts, or should be, hopefully. So on the inside, you want to fold that seam you've just done up, and then fold the waistband down, snip that out of the way, over that seam. So you just want to go over about 2 or 3 millimeters, so when you sew on the other side, it will catch that seam. So just pin all that in place as you go around. You want to leave a gap at the back. Where's the back? Here's the back. At the back here, you don't want to sew this on all the way around. So you want to leave about a 3-inch gap at the back. I'm just going to place a mark with my chalk, 1.5 inches either side on the right side there. So I remember to stop there. So I'm going to turn these the right way round. So starting from the back where I've made that first mark, I'm going to sew in the ditch here. So where that seam is, I'm going to sew in there, and as I sew there, it should hopefully catch this folded edge here, and so that'll look all nice and tidy on the inside. So I'm going to place my foot down, put my needle down, and then just sew in that gap there. But take your time over this because you want to look nice on the outside. Just go as slowly as you want. You've got all the time in the world. Well, once you're wearing these on the beach, you feel like you are. And there's your waistband on your shorts, and that should have caught on the inside, and it has. You can just about see that there. So now it's time to put the elastic into the waistband. So the easiest way to do this is to grab a safety pin like this and attach that to the end of the elastic, and then feed it through the shorts at the gap that you left at the back. Feeling your way through, bring that elastic around there. Might take some time. Go and make a cup of tea. Come back in a minute. Take my safety pin off here now. I need that again later for when we do the drawstring. Put that over there. Now you want to sew these two ends together. So you want it quite secure, so I would recommend doing a square and then across the middle. Pull that elastic through to there, just even it out a little bit. So that's your elasticated waist. First, of course, you want to sew your hole up, so continue what you're doing before and just sew in the ditch here and close that seam up there. Now we need to pull through the drawstring. So in the same way, like you've done the elastic, put the safety pin on the end of the piece of cord, and hopefully it will fit through your eyelet. So feed that round. Again, go and make yourself a cup of tea or a cocktail. Okay, so there we are. The cord is through. I'll take my safety pin off the end here. Now I have these cord ends that I bought when I bought the cord, and I think I just thread that through there like that, and then close the cap like that. So that'll prevent it from going through there. So I've got the other cord end here, so I'm just going to feed that through there and then close that cap. So that's corded, so you can't lose your cords. Now we just need to hem the bottom of the shorts. So let's turn the shorts inside out again, and what we want to do is to press up 1 centimeter to the inside and then up again 2 centimeters. So let me measure that. It's 1 centimeter. So is that about 1 centimeter? That's roughly 1 centimeter. That's that's even, so press that and then go up 2 centimeters. Make sure it's all flat. Then do the same on the other leg. Press that. Now if you want, you can pin that in place before we stitch it, but I think pressing is sometimes enough. So I'm going to stitch a line of stitching around this folded edge here to secure that in place. Now you might find it helpful to take this arm off here. It's easier to slip your short leg in, not your short leg, but your short leg. And so you want to stitch it probably about 3 millimeters from the edge of that top fold. And make sure your material is nice and flat as you stitch it. Give your hem a final press. And there you are, all lovely pair of shorts, beach ready for the summer. So I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Please leave a comment down below. Let us know if you enjoyed it or not. Like it, share it, get involved, sign up to Keep Britain Sewing, and keep sewing. Enjoy. Thank you.